Hi, good morning. This is Hongwei Zhang from Iowa State University. As a person from Iowa, we all love agriculture over there. And I have one question and also one community resource I want to share. As part of the National Science Foundation Platform for Advanced Wireless Research Program, we have developed and have been operating a large-scale wireless living lab in Central Iowa that's covering about over 500 square miles of both research farms, producer farms. In terms of type of farms, there's crop farm, there's also livestock farm, from poultry to dairy to swine and so on, right? So it's a fantastic facility for the community use for, industry leaders who may be interested in agriculture sector as a vertical. We would love to see how this could be of use for your project you may have in mind. Also, I want to highlight that there's actually world-leading agtech companies, the research centers, as well as a thriving startup community in the agtech, all within the footprint of ERA Living Lab. So the question I have is, so far one has a focus on vertical industry, right? Just taking agtech as an example, most of the mature agtech that's available today is driven by what's available in the field. That's either the 5G/LTE signals or the SATCOM, new SATCOM link available. So therefore, the type of agtech feature that's going to be, really get the farmers excited, farming community excited, may not exist yet, right? So if you want to really advocate O-RAN as the solution, or one of the prime solution for farming, there's a need to really look at for the agtech industry and wireless industry to collaborate, to try to develop capabilities, hopefully in the coming 3 years, that can really get the community excited. So the question is, so out of the total fund available, are we allowed to allocate certain portion to agtech innovation, or everything has to be just about wireless network?
Go ahead, Richard.
Sure. So short answer is it's the responsibility of the applicant to determine the most appropriate way to distribute the funding among the subrecipients. And so, yes, I think that sounds great. You can distribute funding to an agtech partner or partners, and it's really at the discretion of the applicant, as long as the other requirements, the eligibility and other requirements of SRFA 1 are met. And as long as any partner is not an ineligible entity under the terms of the NOFO, and we welcome creative partnerships and distribution of funding however the applicant sees fit.
Yeah, let me just add from a technical perspective, right? Remember that this needs to use Open RAN, right? So if you come back, right, and your application says, we developed a new way to, measure nitrogen, and it's a great application, and this is what we want to use. It's really going to add a lot of value, but we're just going to, transmit this information over existing channels. We're not going to, in other words, we're not advancing O-RAN, right? Or leveraging O-RAN as a result of this, right? We can do this using the good old fashioned LTE networks of old, and they're monolithic, single supplier stacks, and we can use it that way. Then that would be an example of one from a technical perspective that would not be a good scope fit. I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Troy Edelin from EdgeCase. Two pretty simple questions. You have a ballpark time as to when after the application due date that you'll notify the winners? And related to cost share, can one of the applicants on an applicant team carry all of the cost share for the whole application?
For the cost share, yes. You don't have to split it up with your subrecipients at all. As far as the time frame, I hesitate to commit, obviously. As you know, we're going to be going through a transition, so we don't know what that may hold for our program in terms of briefing everyone, and everything's a new process. So that will probably lengthen our process as well. Hopefully, early fall.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just add one quick thing on the cost share question. Just a reminder that in the letter of partnership intent, one of the things that we're looking for is whether or not the partners are investing resources as a demonstration of a commitment to the partnership. So the applicant can contribute the full cost share, but we may be considering whether or not that cost share is distributed to any subrecipient partners as well.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bob Stevens from Keysight Technologies. For Surfa One, I'm curious about is there an assumption for the solutions in terms of it being a pure software solution with an existing ORAN network topology, or would it be acceptable, as an example, to feed the RIC maybe from a front hall gateway that's got some mobile edge compute hardware as well, maybe augmenting the E2 and O1 interfaces in some novel way? So would that be it'd be a combination of hardware and software? So
that would be, yeah.
That'd be okay?
That would be, yeah, that would fit right in line.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Hi, Kurt Jacobs from JMA Wireless. Thanks for the presentation. Two questions, one for Surfa One, one for Surfa Two. Surfa One, any restrictions on using subcontractors for the software development piece, and where that's done for the software portion?
So the applicant has to demonstrate an ability to basically fulfill that software function. So develop and integrate and commercially sell and or deploy the software solution. So that has to be the applicant. But if you're asking if subcontractors can contribute to that, then yes.
Okay, thank you. And then Surfa Two, you say that you have to use 3 different vendors as part of the applicant, and then they have to use 3 vendors. If the applicant is a vendor of those components, can that count as one of the 3? Or does the applicant get excluded from using any of their product to be one of the 3?
The latter. So there has to be 3 separate partners who are demonstrating that they have the RU and the CUDU capability to demonstrate that interoperability. So the partnership requirement, and let me know if I'm getting your question wrong. The partnership requirement for SRFA 2 is excluding the applicant.
Okay, so if the applicant does have components, they can't count those as part of it. As one of the 3.
I don't believe so. That may be something that we need to follow up on, but I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right, Richard. So the idea is to make it as integratable and open as possible. And if you're counting yourself as one of those, that's limiting that, right? So the idea would be you and 3 partners at a minimum, even though you might have multiple components. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. No, that clarifies it. Thank you.